Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here from Force Strategy Gaming. Some StarCraft 2 commentary for you today. Today's matchup, why do I always do that? I always disable the music, so annoying. Today's matchup is between Liquid's HuK and NosLoki. I'm going to just call him NosLoki. And so yes, HuK versus NosLoki. And we can see here HuK spawning in the, the 3 o'clock position here in Metalopolis. And here in about the 9 o'clock, or that's probably 8 o'clock, but I'll call it the 9 o'clock. Back in the 9 o'clock position, we have NosLoki as our blue Zerg player. So yes, we have got the Zerg here versus Protoss, NosLoki versus HuK here on Metalopolis, and let's get things rolling here. We can see, looks like HuK will be deciding to start off with one base. I casted quite a few PVZs yesterday. It was TT1 versus Idra, and every single game I saw TT1 go with that Forge Fast expand. So obviously we can see HuK opting not to do that on this map. I've mentioned in the past before, maps like this with just such a large surface area providing room into your expansion, it's much more difficult to actually get up and defend a Forge Fast expand. So could be part of the reason why HuK is opting not to do it, or maybe he's just more comfortable with one base play. Who knows? We can see right now NosLoki moving across with that Overlord, realizing that HuK isn't here. He will be angling that and likely moving it probably maybe back here into this position, or he might try to sneak it back over here as well. Over here we can see HuK scouting out NosLoki. He is looking for the pool. He was looking for an extractor or looking for an expansion. It looks like NosLoki will be moving down, though, is going to be able to drop that expansion without any harassment from HuK. So unfortunately HuK missed his opportunity. You will see a lot of times the Protoss player try to hang out on whatever side of the main hatchery that is closest to the ramp. That way, if we see a drone try to move down and attempt to drop an expansion, he can follow suit with that probe and try to delay that with a pylon drop. But didn't see that happen, but look at this. HuK will be trying some cannon harassment here at the expansion. His goal here is to try to force a cancellation. You can see with this pylon placement, making it very difficult for NosLoki to actually get a surround and prevent that pylon from being completed, basically. And we're actually going to see HuK moving forward here with a second probe. Now we do have the one probe inside of the main, and NosLoki thinks he's safe, but here we go, second probe trying to drop some cannons. Let's see if HuK can get these up. He just needs 1 or 2 cannons to actually get up and complete, and some very nice positioning. He's going to continuously be building, trying to keep these probes alive and canceling off any of these low health photon cannons. This one's getting very close to finish right now. He might be able to get it up, maybe trying to drop a couple back here, losing 1, losing 2, and unfortunately doesn't look like this will work for HuK. Should be canceling these off. I fully expect, there we go, canceling that one, and should be canceling this one as well. So unfortunately for HuK, didn't end up working out in his favor. We did see NosLoki was able to respond properly. He does have to contend with this very obnoxious pylon, though, kind of slowing up any gathering basically from this particular mineral field here. You can see the drones are forced to kind of just move around, but once he gets some Zerglings up, he'll be able to take care of this, and no problemo. So we are going to see HuK try to come out with a quick expansion as well. We can see dropping that gateway. We should be seeing some sort of a wall off here to try to prevent any Zerglings from doing too much damage. NosLoki is not yet aware, or now he finally is. He knows that Idra is right over in this position. The Overlord scouted over here. Whoa, what's going on over? Okay, there we go. Zergling's taking out the pylon, but the Overlord scouted over here, and the drone scouted this position. So now NosLoki will be moving across the map and just checking exactly what HuK is going. Now, he probably expects the expansion, but HuK could be sticking to one base and try to go for kind of an all-in push. That is the other option that could certainly be happening. After basically a failed cannon harass at an expansion, the smartest thing to do is to try to make up for your loss and come out with an expansion. That's exactly what HuK's doing. The other option, as I mentioned, is HuK could have tried to stay to one base and just go for a crazy push, but in all honesty, he would have really been too far behind for that to be too effective anyway. So I'm pretty much expecting expected this expansion to be up, but he's pretty comfortable right now. You know, HuK is quite a bit behind in, wasting all that time trying to drop down cannons and unsuccessfully doing so. So we're going to see NosLoki move right now into his third. We can see the hatchery is coming through. Now, even though HuK may be behind technically, he is certainly not out of the game. He's got many options. He can really, as long as he can do some damage, probably I would say before the first 15 minutes game time, he needs to do some damage. He can't really let NosLoki macro up for very long, or else he'll just be way too far ahead. So let's see what HuK tries to do to try to put things back in his favor here. We do, of course, have that Cybernetic score up, Chrono boosting out, that Warp Gate Research Sentry coming on through. I expect probably a couple of sentries to try to provide himself with some sort of early game defense. We have a couple more gateways being placed down right here as well. We'll be going for another, yes. So sitting on these 4 gateways, could possibly try to drop a robo or some additional gateways. Let's see what his game plan is here. Nothing yet, just sticking with those gateways for now, dropping a pylon and then heading back to mining. Back over here, let's keep an eye out as to what NosLoki is doing. We'll be moving forward with these 2 Zergling scouts and just rechecking. He's looking for any sort of large army. He's also, of course, going to be checking this 3rd expansion. Might as well take a look, just in case HuK had kind of had the gall to do something like that. Back over here inside of the main, what is his plan? Well, NosLoki looks to be dropping an evolution chamber right now. He does have that layer coming out for pretty much this entire time. He's been really focused on droning up. Let's take a look there. 46 drones as opposed to just the 38 probes over here for HuK, and a little bit of Zergling harass just out of the range of that cannon, stopping mining even if it's just momentarily. These 2 sentries will be enough though to take out those Zerglings, stop them from doing any more damage to that pylon. Will the Zerglings try to retreat? No, it doesn't really matter. A bit too late right now. Probe Scout moving out right now for HuK, walking right by the Zergling, grabbing that Zelnaga tower. Zergling, of course, will be trying to chase down, but look at these, trying to drop 2 pylons. HuK will be trying for some aggression. Like I mentioned, HuK really does need to try to do some sort of damage, but NosLoki is now fully aware of this. Is HuK going to keep this up anyway? He may very well. The Roach Warren isn't up yet, so all NosLoki has at the moment to defend himself is a few Zerglings. So let's see how good this push is going to be for HuK. Moving forward with those sentries. Does he need to drop a force field to protect that one? No, he lets it die. Could have dropped a force field to protect it, bought himself a little bit of time, making those Zerglings kind of run around, and we're going to be seeing Zealot and Sentry push right now from HuK. Is he even bothering getting any Stalkers? Not at the moment. He doesn't really have a lot of resources, so here we go. Here comes the push, very Zealot heavy. A couple of Sentries in the mix as well. Hopefully we see some good use of force field here, and let's see how much damage HuK can do. This is very important. He needs to do a bit of damage. There we go, nice force field, allowing those Sentries to kind of pick off a few of those Zerglings before they get within range of those Zealots. Here we have a few more Sentries coming forward with some, again, nice force fields, microing back the Zealots while they are low on shields and very dangerously close to dying right now. Here we go, warping in. A ton more Zealots will be using those to take the lead here and keep those injured Zealots in the back. Hopefully that one needs to micro back. Unfortunately, there we go, trapping the Queens. NosLoki caught out of position. That is too bad. Finally, with some roaches in play, though, he's in a better position, but we do still have quite a bit of energy here on these sentries for at least a few more force fields. And here we go, making the switch to Stalkers right now. Seeing those roaches, these Stalkers will be so very effective. So let's see how this engagement goes. Again, HuK does need to do some damage. Let's take a look at the unit loss tab. HuK is still behind. We can see here he's trying to catch up in this push, though. And here we go right now. NosLoki is forced to pull down with some of those drones. We are seeing some very nice force fields. Stalkers in the back. It looks like there are enough roaches, though, with the assistance of those drones to actually push back this attack. So HuK will be forced to retreat. He does have some Zealots coming forward, but it really isn't enough. There are a ton of roaches right there, 7 more roaches and 14 Zerglings coming on through as well. Looks like HuK's attack has been thwarted. Time for him to head back home. Unfortunately, HuK will be losing these pylons. Now let's take a look at the unit loss tab. Yes, HuK is still quite a bit behind. Now keep in mind, though, NosLoki lost a few drones in that engagement. That's certainly not good. Stalkers getting caught out of position without blink. They're in a very vulnerable position there to those Zerglings. There we go. Zealots moving forward to engage, and the roaches pulling it up the rear. Should be able to help this up, but actually, there we go. Finally, NosLoki, a little bit of a, that was a kind of a mistake there. He should have been engaging right away, and we do have burrowed roaches here as well. Didn't even realize that. So very nice. Burrowed roaches going to help quite a bit. Of course, right now, HuK has no means of being able to detect them. We can see that robotics just coming through, but no observer in play as yet. Now, as I was saying, yes, HuK is still behind in the total unit loss, but we do want to take a look here at the workers killed. HuK has managed to kill 14 drones during that engagement. We, of course, did see NosLoki was forced to engage with those drones, so losing that certainly does put him behind. We can take a look here at the income tab as well, and HuK is ahead right now in terms of gathering, so very nice, even though NosLoki is on 3 bases as opposed to just HuK's 2. Taking a look at the worker count, we've got 55 drones as opposed to those 53 probes there, but HuK is at the moment at least ahead, and there we go, finally NosLoki pulling ahead in terms of minerals gathered. But anyways, yes, the whole point is that even though HuK has lost more resources, the fact that NosLoki lost some of his mining is pretty devastating, so we'll have to see how it plays out. Now let's take a look here. NosLoki looks to be getting those vengeful stacks right now. Also that roach speed and the level 1 melee attacks for his ground units. A couple stalkers grabbing the Zergling there at that Xel'Naga. We do see NosLoki trying to push out to see if there's an expansion. There we go, actually. A burrowed Zergling in here without an observer. There we go. Observer finally coming forward, but at the same time, here comes the roach push. So this expansion has been delayed quite a bit. Nice play there by HuK, burrowing the Zergling. You know, obviously what happened was Idra tried to drop it, and when you move over and try to drop an expansion, and you say you cannot put that there, you scratch your head for a moment, and then you realize, oh, there's a burrowed unit. That's too bad. So was forced to move his observer over there, kill off that Zergling, and there we go. Now HuK can finally drop that expansion. What is HuK's plan over here? Very, very zealot heavy. Has some immortals coming out to deal with those roaches as well. Overseer sacrificing itself, getting killed by those stalkers. Does HuK have any big tech choices? He's still pretty much sticking gateway heavy, plus that robo for those immortals, but that's about it. Would like to see him come out with maybe a little bit of higher tech. We're thinking here maybe some Colossus, possibly even throwing in some High Templar as well. All of these things are certainly an option, but right now HuK is feeling comfortable with just the gateway tech. Plus that immortal. There's that Twilight Council, so we should be seeing that higher tech coming very soon, and another gateway as well. But at the same time, NosLoki moving across with a big push. Zerglings pulling in from one side, roaches from the other. This is a dual-pronged attack. However, we do see that HuK is fully walled off. Now the roaches moving forward to try to engage there. The Zerglings able to get a little bit of surround, forcing cancellation. HuK having to deal with these Zerglings at the same time. Roaches threatening to push in. He should be moving in with those roaches. He could have done a little bit of damage. Oh, never mind. There's a large force right there. He was concerned about walking into all those immortals plus those zealots. But still, good job by NosLoki. Lots of Banelings coming through. He did manage to force the cancellation of that one gateway, so certainly was a minor victory for him. We do have NosLoki coming out over here with another hatchery as well, spreading some creep, getting ready to help his units when an engagement does finally come through. Tons of roaches over here. We've got a lot of Banelings sitting over here as well. Moving forward with a ton of Overlords. We'll be spreading the creep with that, or could he be doing some Baneling dropping? Looks like he will. We're going to see some Baneling dropping, and if those can land on the heads of those Zealots and Stalkers, that is devastating. So let's see how this engagement goes. It's really going to come down to how NosLoki engages and how effectively he can use those Overlords to drop those Banelings. This is a very effective tactic if done properly. So here we go. Roaches pulling forward, Zerglings behind, and here come the Banelings as well. And let's see how this manages to work itself out right now. HuK is cornered in a bad position right now. Those Banelings coming dangerously close and dropping right on those Zealots. Boom, boom, boom. And that's the sound of what? Anyways, yes, here we go. Moving forward with those Banelings and just destroying HuK's army, and HuK in a terrible position right now, losing so much during that. These roaches should be enough to deal with this. He does want to target fire down these immortals though, and actually that roach count is dwindling. We are seeing some reinforcement Zerglings coming into the mix as well. Please target fire down those immortals. You're getting shredded by those guys as they're target firing, and there we go. HuK calling the GG. NosLoki opened up this game with a quick expansion, and in spotting it, we did see HuK drop a pylon and a forge inside of his main, and with this, he was attempting to do some cannon harass. But luckily for NosLoki, he responded properly, pulling down just enough drones to deal with these cannons, force them to be cancelled, and unfortunately for HuK, this harassment didn't end up prevailing. After the failed cannon harass, we did see HuK move into an expansion, dropping a couple of cannons as early game defense. Realizing he was a little bit behind, HuK pushed out around 9 minutes game time with a very zealot sentry heavy force. Now this is of course going to be very, very strong against a Zergling heavy army, which is all NosLoki had this early in the game. So we're going to see some nice force fields and some nice placement here of his zealots, just with some nice micro, keeping the sentries in the back and using those force fields to buy those zealots some time to work through those Zerglings. Now HuK was able to do a bit of damage here, but wasn't actually able to break NosLoki. One big thing though is that with this engagement, HuK was able to kill off a few queens, and then during the final push, which is going to be very, very stalker heavy, we actually see NosLoki pull forward with a few drones, and because of that, HuK was able to kill off quite a few workers in this push as well. It was eventually fended off though, and NosLoki went back along his merry way. Our final push came at the 16-minute mark, with HuK moving into his third and getting ready to tech up. We did see NosLoki fill up a ton of Overlords with Banelings and move forward with a Speedling Roach Baneling drop right into the natural expansion of HuK. Now, NosLoki was actually able to corner HuK's units, and being in a terrible position, able to drop the Banelings right on top of everything that HuK had, and this just decimated his army, and this is pretty much what forced the GG. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed this commentary. As always, guys, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much. And as always, guys, keep watching and keep owning.